had really, the conversation is that we all probably know that the area we live in is not focused on what is good health as much as it could be or should be, and I think what we as a commission working with our chief health officer is trying to bring some attention to it, that if we don't take it in a serious matter, then Dr. Banks and others would know better than I how bad these things of our diet and our habits, whether it be smoking or whatever it might be, that are definitely detrimental to our health. But I did at that meeting agree that I would take my responsibilities seriously, and as a commissioner and in and out of the courthouse on a pretty regular basis, that I felt like the number one goal that I should pursue would be not only it's improper and illegal to be smoking on courthouse premises, it's just not healthy. So I have to try to see if I can do more. You don't want to just really do badgering, but you know, people do take offense to it sometimes, tell them it's none of your business. But I guess if you could make a difference in one person's life, maybe it'd be worth taking a little abuse of somebody closing the door on you or something. But I hope to be able to just do some things. But what I'd really like to do is take a little thought and get input from any and all, that not only the smoking, but anything we could do as a commission that would make our employees and their families healthier, then maybe we could come up with something that would be in the way of, you know, I guess I like to think in the way of an activity or a game or something, a challenge, or that there be some rewards at the end. What that might be, I don't know, but with some thought, I'm sure we could come up with something that not only do we discourage certain health habits, but we encourage others. And so maybe we can do something once a month or something that would focus on some healthy issue that would be good for all of us working here in our families. So,
do you think the commission could, if people wanted to stop smoking, could sort of help supplement the cost of patches or something?
Well, that and maybe counseling and whatever. I think it's would be one of those things that if they would want to do it, I'd like to see them. I guess I was thinking they come forward. They know that there is an opportunity. If they would come forward and say, well, if you'll help us do something, we're willing to try. Nobody knows where it can work or not, but at least give it a try. So, and maybe buy some pedometers or whatever you call those things that measures your steps, your walk, and, whatever they may want to do. But I think we should maybe ask each elected official see if they could work with their staff and come up with something that they would submit, and then we try to work with them.
You know, one of the things along that same line, as far as you know, having dealt with irate people that smoke a lot, and tell them I really care for them, so I'm keep bitching at them about it. But it's something that you know, it's really hard for them. It's really a difficult drug to get off of, and it's not something that they, you know, if they all want to do it, they all want to get off of that drug, and even though they think sometimes they don't. But I was thinking along the same line as some kind of competition. You know, one of the things you can do is you can weigh everybody and see how much weight they can lose in an office over a period of time or something like that. And I think that's a direct indicator of whether they're eating right or not.
Biggest loser.
Yeah, pretty much along that same line. But I do think once you start talking about it, it gets everybody else thinking about what can we do to be able to help people like this. So I think it's a really good idea.
I thought maybe, I hadn't even thought about paying for the patches, but that's possible. I thought maybe if you went by elected officials, one thought I did seriously have, if that we would, maybe as a commission, be one thought to have it, whatever the activities we decide in 6 months, whichever group did the best, then we give them a weekend somewhere or something. At a health spa or something. I mean, it just seems to me like it needs to be something that would, whatever we decide upon, and I think it should be a group decision, then let's work. You don't have to. If you want to participate, here's what we need to do, and here's the goal right here, and here's the reward then.
You know, and I think I could, in my participation in it, I could individualize treatment for nicotine withdrawal for each one of them, so and give suggestions as far as which direction to go with, and as far as coordinating maybe with their doctors, and say, this is probably what way you want to go with, because there's several different things now that we didn't have back 10, 15 years ago, so they all have problems though, but I mean, they're all a lot safer than smoking, so.
Something that, and I agreed during the summit that this was a real important issue, but the one thing that I thought should be addressed countywide is the fact that alcohol is a problem, but prescription pills and drugs, it's an epidemic. And once our young people in particular get addicted to some type of drug, for them to be able to find the avenue to be able to get help nearly is impossible in their eyes. There's not the kind of help that's needed in this state to help people get clean. And once someone does go through the process and they beat the odds, when they come back to Lincoln County, and in this county in particular, we don't have enough AA and NA meetings to have a safety net to keep them clean. So I think that one of the things I want to do is try to network with the community centers and the churches to find people and places that would be willing to put in place that safety net. So once someone beats the odds, that they have people to lean on. And it's a real scary fact. People that we would least expect, successful people, young people that you would never imagine would go down that path. They're going down that path. And we just have to admit to ourselves there's a problem and do everything we can to help them.
The need is there for sure. On the next item here, it's always a privilege to certainly sit here and be president of Lincoln County Commission, but with that I've been able to serve on lots of boards and just trying to see if there's some other commissioners want to join and see if they got time to help on these, and if not, we'll continue on. But Mr. Mullins is still on Southwestern. His time will be up in May, but I think he wants to stay on there. Region 2 Planning and Development, I'm on that board. I'm chairman of that board, so not an issue. Tri-River, I'm on that board. Lincoln Emergency, I'm on that board. Have no problem with it. Work Extension, I have to serve on that. The president of the commission does. And then Hatfield McCoy, we have Mr. Burton and Mr. Adkins. Open, we have Quarter G. We have Lincoln EDA, which I'm on now, but I'm certainly willing to share that with anyone. Workforce Investment and the Route 10 Coalition and the Lincoln County Home Confinement. So
I would be willing, and after showing Commissioner Vance, to serve on the Corridor G EDA, which I was a part of once before, the Lincoln EDA, Route 10 Coalition, and Lincoln County Home Confinement.
And we still got you on the Camp Lakeview Development, right? Okay, good, thank you.
oh, what's the on Camp Lake?
Camp Lakeview.
Oh.
We need to write that on there.
Yeah, we're trying to get this a little bit organized where we know who's doing what.
And Thomas is on that. And also, Commissioners, I forgot one here, that the Public Defenders Board of Directors, I'm on
Yeah,
that.
you do that.
And if one of you all want to get on there, that would be fun. And our...
We'll let you know.
Okay. And also our Champion Community Board. I'm on that for the commission.
Well, just
And if y'all want.
make these all into the record so we'll have them, because it hasn't been one of those things we've been able to follow. So we get them covered. I didn't get them all written down, hoping you did.
Well, got the public, additional to that would be the Public Defenders Board of Directors, myself. Camp Lakeview is Thomas. Champion Community is Judy Johnson.
You worked a lot with that Workforce Investment Board, haven't you, Charles?
I have at least, I have been there for the last 3 meetings. It's been a conflict. They meet 4 times a year is what they meet. They meet more than that, but the county commissioners, the way the federal law is, says that county commissioners are the local elected official that represents the county on that board, and there has to be one from each county. And basically, Mickey Brown from Boone County is chairman of that, and they have an executive committee that pretty much runs everything. And then the county commission is basically responsible for the monies that flow through there to do training for dislocated workers and things like that. So, it's supposed to be a county commission from one, but I just haven't been able to go. I've missed, I think, the last 3 meetings.
Where do they meet at?
They meet in the West End of Huntington down at their office. They got a new building down there. It's about 17th Street or something. After you get off before you go across the Ohio Bridge, they're at 17th Street. It's 3 blocks down. But if some of y'all can, that's.
Well, I'll go ahead and try that. I don't know. I don't have any expertise. in
Well,
that,
it's more looking after this.
But now, if you need any help with the emergency ambulance thing, I probably can help you
Okay.
on that too, so.
Okay. We meet at 8 o'clock, usually the second Wednesday, but sometimes it has to change, trying to run Alan down. He gets emergencies in Charleston or something.
Okay, I'm gonna read this into record now. Champion Community, Judy Johnson. Southwestern, Charles Ken Mullins. Region 2 Planning Development, Charles McCann. Tri-River Transit Authority, Charles McCann. Lincoln Emergency Ambulance, Charles McCann. Quarter G Regional Development, Thomas Ramey. Lincoln Economic Development, Thomas Ramey. 4-H Extension, which is President of Commission, Charles McCann. Workforce Investment Board, Charles Vance. Route 10 Coalition, Thomas Ramey. Hatfield McCoy Trail Systems, Ferris Burton and Kenny Agnew. Lincoln County Home Confinement, Thomas Ramey. Public Defenders Board of Directors, Judy Johnson. Camp Lakeview, Thomas Ramey.
And I'll be glad to help the guys on the Hatfield McCoy Trail Systems too.
I guess Dave's their first meeting, haven't heard from them. They were supposed to.
Yeah, they had a meeting at noon today.
Well, we have talked about that, meeting Ferris and Kenny. We met last week out in Illinois and talked about the system and what they should do today when they went to their meeting, just that. But I tell you, I think what we're going to do, our game plan when we left that meeting was to wait till this election dust settles and approach President Tomlin, Governor Tomlin, whatever his title's going to be, and sit down and talk with him about the importance of the Hatfield McCoy being in the big ugly park area. Right now, DNR blocks it from there, and of course, we're just going to ask him. Let's put it, he rides there himself, and so we're going to set a meeting up, or try to. Our plan is to, once they get back from this meeting today, is contact the office and see if we can get in a meeting and talk about. Let's find somebody that's willing to talk to us about how, because the people who own the land says it's okay. It's the DNR that says we don't want 4-wheelers in there riding on it. So we're going to see if we can't figure out some way to make that happen. Then we do the part on both sides of the road there like we originally planned. So we're going to go back and revisit that.
Yeah, I think the only, in talking with Jeff Lusk, the director and things, I think that without getting a large track like that to go along with what we can get, it's not going to be feasible unless we do that. So I think we really need to express to Governor Tomlin that for us to have a trail system similar to what they have in the other counties, we're going to have that area to use. And we had already talked on the board of directors that before that going ahead and allowing changing our bylaws